Hey there everyone and welcome to The Game Code. I'm your host Stephanie Pelley and we're Atlantic Canada's only video game show, bringing you the latest happenings in the video game industry and talking to some local folks as well. We've got a great episode on the way for you. In exclusive news, we've got the latest on the FibreOP Spring Cup. If you're a Starcraft 2 or League of Legends player, we've got the scoop on this huge tournament with over $5,000 in prizing. And speaking of Starcraft, we're hot on the heels of the much anticipated Heart of the Swarm expansion pack release from Blizzard. We're breaking down some of the new features from this set. And Sony may have recently made a little announcement about their next generation console. We've got some folks on deck to talk about all the details stemming from the big PlayStation 4 press conference. But first up, we thought we'd give you an exclusive first look at some of the details surrounding the FibreOP Gaming League Spring Cup. This is sponsored by Bell Aliant FibreOP, and the league hosts online tournaments for two big-ticket PC titles. League of Legends players fear not, as the game will be returning for competitive play. And of course, since Starcraft 2 was such a big part of the FibreOP Fall Cup, this game will be returning as well, but with a new twist, as the latest expansion pack, Heart of the Swarm, has just been released. The Spring Cup is free to enter for players across Canada and for spectators to watch online as well. Qualifiers will begin on April 1st, with the finals taking place the following week. Now, as before, the finals will be streamed live, powered by high-speed Bell Aliant FibreOP. The final streams will be April 6th for League of Legends, hosted by Derek Kale from Pure Ownage. On April 7th, Heart of the Swarm will take center stage with Maximus Black and Nova War from Lag TV casting. And joining the cast for both League of Legends and Starcraft finals will be some of our friends from Esports Canada.
And now, you just do not give Terran opportunities like this. It's just so powerful. Fireball, but a couple of... Oh, a huge fumble goes down.
And here comes the
for DDE, and a big fumble on top of those medevacs. I don't think it's still going to be enough, though. And wow, all those infestors with basically no energy left. Just two of them. Are they going to be able to get the funnels down beforehand? No, they don't. And this gives Henderless an opportunity to possibly do a drop now. I'd love to see him do some drops here. I know that there's a lot of pressure, a lot going on, but he really needs to make something happen. Zerg now got another expand up top here. The longer he waits, the worse it's going to get for him. All those infestors are going to die here if he does not. Okay, there we go. Very, very nice.
There we go.
Couple of decent fumbles, and now he's using his army as one.
Now, how does $5,000 in prizes sound? Pretty good? Well, not only is this part of the prize pool for competitors, but spectators will also be able to get their hands on some of that prize money by watching the live streams online. And the FibreOP Gaming League is always proud to support a charitable cause with every tournament. For the Spring Cup, funds raised through donations and the live stream will go towards the very worthy Kids Help Phone.
See, as a carry, one thing I'd love to talk about one day with a pro player, maybe I'll have beers and I'll get to ask and learn why, but sometimes it makes sense to me to push the lane bot and throw my minions into their turrets. The turret gets the kills and then he doesn't get the last hits. It's a lot harder. Big battle.
I've been watching the whole time, just waiting for you to notice. You got this. Do it. Do it.
Bunch of stuff going on. Oh my god, he's up in the air. Oh, he's down, and then the health bars are going down, and oh my god, double kill for Caitlyn. And 10-10, even on gold. It's not over. Oh, poor Nunu, man. Yellow Pete, but he's Ezreal, so watch out. Triple kill for Caitlyn. 11-11. This has been really cool, man.
Registration is now open to enter, or just to get more information, head over to bellalliant.net/FOGL or on Facebook at facebook.com/BellAlliant. And don't forget, you can go to either to watch the live streams of the finals the weekend of April 6th. Happy viewing to the fans and best of luck to the competitors. Now, we've had a few weeks to let the news of the big Sony Playstation 4 announcement really sink in. When Sony announced back in early February that a big announcement was on the horizon, if they had delivered anything less than a PlayStation 4 confirmation, there would have been riots in the street. Of course, there was a lot that came with the big reveal, including specs, features, games, and also some key details that were noticeably left out. Joining me to talk about the highlights from the PlayStation 4 announcement, we have Mike Sharp from The Game Code. And we have local journalist Colin Chisholm as well. Welcome, guys. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about the tech. We've got 8 gigs of RAM here. This is 30 times the amount of RAM of the PlayStation 3. I don't know, this seems like kind of overkill to me, but when you think of the PlayStation 3, you're thinking it was made 7 years ago. Are they being forward-thinking? Because this was the #1 request by developers. So, Mike, what do you think there?
Well, I mean, I guess we can bring some science into this. So there's a computer theory out there called Moore's Law that says every about 18 months or so, technology should double. Now, it's actually talking about processor speeds and things like that. But if you look at it, actually, the math checks out. So, realistically, if we're speaking as a device purely from a computer standpoint, this actually, the tech makes sense. And let's be honest, the whole part of Sony's talk was really pairing a machine to their vision. And you need that kind of power in it to do what Sony's talking about. So all of the sharing aspects, things like that, the power of the machine actually sort of meets what their vision is of this. So it seems like they're going on the right track to me on this.
Colin, what do you think?
For sure, I agree with what he said, but my only concern would be how will this impact the overall cost? Because in the end, people are going to need to go into a store, lay down their hard-earned money. Is this going to make for a very expensive console like we saw with the PlayStation 3, which was upwards to $600, depending on what model you got? So that's my only hesitation, but at the same time, it's incredibly exciting to see so many resources being put into the box itself.
Okay, we've mentioned sharing already. Just thinking in terms of features, Sony's paired up with Facebook and Ustream, so social's going to be a big part of this. I don't know, like, am I the only person in the world who it doesn't play a video game and think, oh man, that was cool, I can't wait to share it on Facebook? Like, I don't know, like, is this something you're thinking that you might make use of?
I'm going to be so annoyed if my entire Facebook wall is just people playing.
Because you got a lot of gaming friends.
I mean, I do, and I don't really know if that makes sense. Obviously, Facebook is the world's largest social network, and everyone's on it. But why not just put their own social network into the PlayStation itself and have a video? I mean, maybe they'll do that right on the console, but I think it's going to be really irritating for some people who maybe aren't gamers, and this could maybe push them away because all of their gaming friends are posting tournament videos of them playing Call of Duty 8 or whatever it'll be, and I just don't really see the appeal personally. A lot of people will love it. I know for things like gaming tournaments, it'll come in. It'll be a huge help for them to kind of, maybe they'll have a little group together and they'll show how awesome it is. But frankly, I'm worried that it'll annoy a lot of people. So
see, I couldn't disagree more with that. I think Sony actually really hit the nail on the head here. If we look at sort of what's been happening in the gaming industry over the last year, it's hard to deny that the biggest thing that's out there is Twitch. Now, I think your question sort of, is it something that needs to be on the new consoles? Absolutely. It's going to bring a lot of people into the table who, might not normally think about gaming as a hobby, and it's going to bring a lot more people into it, especially considering that Sony's backing that up with making it a much more accessible, much more indie-friendly. There's going to be a lot more not hardcore games that we might be used to on the console and sort of broadening that. My only concern with that is how they've actually brought this out. So you mentioned Ustream. Why? You look at it, Twitch is obviously the big juggernaut when it comes to this. Like, Sony is tying themselves to a horse that's really not even in the race. So I think that's really going to be the big thing, is how does this actually get integrated and what services are they using? If they're not going with services that are already out there for gamers and the gamers are using, the whole thing might as well be for naught. The idea of making Sony's own, social media, social networking site, it's not going to do it. They really need to bring more people, get that audience bigger. This is a big trend in gaming, and this is where it's going. So Sony is obviously on the ball on this, and they're ready to go.
Okay. I just hope my wall doesn't get flooded, but we'll see what happens, I guess. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about cloud gaming. So the new PlayStation is going to be using the Gate cloud tech. You're going to be able to get your games online. They didn't say anything about backwards compatibility, so I don't know what they're doing here. Maybe it's a bit of like a revenue generator. They're maybe looking at this the same way you can with like the Wii Virtual Console. But is it a money grab? Like, are people going to be upset that you can't play your old PlayStation games on the new PlayStation 4?
No, backwards compatibility really is something that we need to step away from. When I think about when I was a kid and wanted a Super Nintendo, I wasn't pissed off that it wouldn't play my NES games. I understand that the people have put investments into these things, but let's be really honest. If we want technology to move forward, we can't always be complaining about why it doesn't work with the previous stuff. If you want to give me my games on a virtual console and I want to buy them, that's great. If you want to bring these things through cloud technology, through extra games that I can purchase, sure. But realistically, it's going to hold development back if we keep waiting or asking for backwards compatibility. I just don't really see the need for it.
I do agree with a lot of what you said, but at the same time, these gamers have made massive investments, dozens, who knows, hundreds of games perhaps, and they might be a little ticked off if all of a sudden their new console can't play this huge library of games that they have, and then to see, oh, but I can go to this website and now I have to buy my game again. That might rub them the wrong way a little bit. They've already paid for the game and now they can't play it on their new shiny box, which might lead them to keeping their old box around longer, and who knows if that'll benefit it or not. But I could see how people might be a little mad that they can't just pop in their old copy of Halo or sorry, not Halo. Their old sorry,
PlayStation ever.
wrong system. Their old copy of, let's say, Uncharted 3.
For sure.
But instead they need to go to Gaikai or whatever it is and pay for it again, download it, and then start from scratch. You wouldn't have your trophies there, perhaps, or who knows how it'll work.
But you know what? I think the thing that it comes back to is Sony can really, nail this out of the park if they bring that social integration back. So, these old games, they're going to be lacking that social aspect. So if this is the way that Sony wants to go and they really want to get on this social networking thing, building that in is the advantage. Like, hey, now you can actually, compete against someone in, Uncharted or something like that. You can play Final Fantasy VII. You can share save states. Like, there's a lot of ways to integrate this and build value and actually getting people to purchase their software again. Yeah. I think of it as the big shift from like digital or film to digital. We sort of just put up with it. It's one of those things. The technology evolves. We have to as well.
Speaking of getting people to purchase things, Sony would very much like it if we all would buy a PlayStation Vita.
Right now.
Yeah. Sure they would.
Right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like, if you look at the new Wii U, it seems like the handheld was supporting the console, but in this case, it's looking like the console exists to support the Vita. Is the PlayStation 4 going to basically be an IV drip for this defunct piece of equipment that no one wants?
Well, I don't know if defunct is the best way to say it. The Vita, if nothing else has compelled me to get a Vita, it's actually the PS4 announcement. So if that was their aim, like, kudos, you did it. Because I've, in using it.
But nothing else would have made you want to get a Vita.
There's not too much. The software library is not fantastic on it. So it's obviously got a lot of roadblocks first. But, I think Sony is taking Nintendo's game with asynchronous play and kicking it up in high gear. I look at all the things that I like in the Wii U, and I'm like, man, it looks like Sony's going to do a better job on this. So that's definitely one huge win there for Sony, whether it's through the Vita, whether it's through integrating tablets or smartphones. That's still a little iffy right now, but overall, if I like the PlayStation experience, like if I go and get a PS4, I'm not opposed to getting a Vita if it makes the experience that much better.
Colin, what do you think? Does this make you want to get a Vita?
If they drop the price, I'd run out and grab one. But right now, it's still a very big investment. I do think it was neat that they kind of showed that the PS Vita could be a second screen a la Wii U. But at the same time, they also said, and your tablet, and your phone, and all of your other devices. And guess what? There's hundreds of millions of those, and only 4 or 5 million Vitas out there. So I think they're trying to keep it going a bit, but I'm still very worried about the Vita's longevity. What they need more than anything right now is games for that console, which they are severely lacking. So time will tell if that can come around, like the 3DS kind of has. Yeah.
All right, DualShock 4. Can we get a shot of that up? The Sony PlayStation controller, it has been it's a classic. But it's always been very ergonomic. It's one of the easiest to use. This looks like more of the same to me, but is more of the same a good thing when, if it's not broke, don't fix it?
Well, it's hard to deny that, the controller works, and obviously there's not a whole lot of need to reinvent the wheel on this. The changes that they have made, integrating the share button right on the controller shows that they are serious about what their aims are on this. The thing about the touchpad that worries me is seeing how Sony integrates the touch controls with the Vita, and you know what? I'm not sold that they can do it well, so it's going to be up to a lot of third-party developers, I think, to actually integrate that well. And truth be told, if they don't integrate the touchpad into gameplay, I'm very okay with that.
Yeah, the touch mechanic on the controller itself, I'm very hesitant how that'll work. They didn't really show that much at the conference itself. It was interesting that they had the light in the back to sort of work with this new peripheral that they have, which is basically Sony Connect or however you want to describe it. I do like that the form factor, though, is very similar. It looks a bit wider. I don't know, maybe it was just how I was looking at it. So, but mainly it is the same. We don't have this big boomerang thing like they teased back when the PS3 was first announced. But other than that, I think it will remain fairly what people are used to. I hesitate because with the DualShock 3, they had, you can move your dragon around by doing this, and that just never really came to fruition.
That's an excellent point, but we need to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
But I have to say, the whole atmosphere of the room changed as soon as we went to that.